Today's video is going to be about what you should be doing today so that you can set up your 2026 Pokemon business for success. And real quick, if you enjoy this content and you are trying to start a Pokemon business in 2026, please do make sure to subscribe down below so you can stay up to date with all of the tips and information that I'm going to be sharing over the next year. And shameless plug, I have Mega Dream boxes on my website, tcgtrue.com, $110 per box. They're available right now. The link is down in the description. Okay, so a lot of people right now feel like it is impossible for them to start their Pokemon business because of the state of the market and the inventory shortages and not being able to get a distributor. So they feel like, okay, I can't start the business, so I'm just not going to do anything. And I'm telling you, this video is the things that you should be doing today so that when things do improve, you are in the best position possible for your business to actually start and begin and hit the ground running. If you are somebody who waits until things are in the perfect optimal conditions for you to start your business, you are going to be so far behind the 8 ball when it actually gets to that point. If you want to succeed, if you want your business to take off in 2026, you need to be laying the groundwork today so that when things are in the optimal position, you are already ready to go. You are already set up and things can just hit the ground running. Otherwise, if you wait, it's going to be too late. So the number one thing that you can start doing today is to start building up your funds. You need to have capital available for your business. Now, it's not 100% necessary. I started my business with $600. It's not like you need to have this insane amount of money. However, this video is going to be about optimal. What is the best thing for you to do? Starting your business with $600 is not a great idea. It is very, very challenging. There's a lot of things that I struggled with in the beginning with my business because I just simply didn't have enough available capital, which capital is just what people call the amount of money that you have able to use. You need to start building that number up right now. The more that you are able to start with, the smoother it will be when you first start the business. It gives you more leeway, more room to play. It's just all around better. So what you can start doing right now, if you have a job, keep working your job, keep earning your money, get into more of a saving mindset. Instead of spending the money that you usually have for like your free or your play money, start saving some of that up. You need to build up a little bit of a reserve so that when you start the business, you have money to actually play with. You have enough that you can buy a diverse range of products. Instead of being cash strapped every single time you get new stuff, the more you can start with, the easier it's going to be to get the ball rolling. Again, we don't know how long it's going to be for things to get back into a good position, for it to be viable to start a new Pokemon business. So if you can start saving today, who knows? Maybe it's 3, 6, 9 months of time that you are able to build up your available capital and your funds for when you start the business. And I promise you, just the more that you have, the easier it's going to be. Do not quit your job and say, I'm just going to do 2026 is going to be the year of my Pokemon business and go all in on that. You need to keep the job. You need to keep the money that is coming in. That safety net is also very important when you're first starting off the business. But switch from your spending mentality into a saving mentality. Your goal between now and whenever the business gets started is to save as much money as possible. I know that you need to try to cut out as much of the extra expenses as possible. Every single dollar that you can save between now and the time that you start the business is going to be one more dollar that makes it easier for your business to grow. And in 2026, your goal is not to immediately start a business where you're making a ton of money. Your goal in 2026, when you start the first year of business, is just to grow as much as possible. And every extra dollar that you have makes that easier. Number 2 is going to be start gaining a following. And now what I wanted to originally say is start a brand. However, a lot of people, that can be an abstract concept for them. Another way you could phrase this is start creating content. Again, the word content gets used so often nowadays, but it really just means put something publicly out into the universe, okay? Create a YouTube, create a TikTok, create an Instagram, start putting out reels, TikToks, YouTube shorts, YouTube videos, whatever it is. Start creating stuff for the business that you are eventually going to have. You do not need to make this around sales either. This can be really anything. If you are somebody who is artistic, if you want to create like concept arts for different Pokemons, or update, old arts and make them look unique, or just creating like any kind of cool artsy stuff about Pokemon. If you are somebody who has a collection, start showing off aspects of your collection. Show off, if you go to Collecticons, show off the things that you trade, the things that you got, your hauls, whatever it is. If you're somebody who opens packs, because of number one, you kind of want to stop opening packs. But if you are somebody who just is going to be opening packs anyway, record yourself opening the packs. Start getting used to creating content. Start making videos so that your name, the name of your business that you want to create, which you should have some kind of an idea for. It doesn't even have to be creative, just something that is the brand for those pages. Start creating things and putting it out into the universe. One, when you first start, it's going to be bad. You need experience creating content. It takes a while to get comfortable talking to a camera like I'm doing right now by yourself. It takes a while to kind of get smooth, to get comfortable with it. So start creating the content now, because it's going to be really bad when you start, and it will get better over time. And you want to be good at it by the time your business starts anyway. But you want people to have heard your name before you start the business. You want people to be following you for whatever kind of content you can produce. Like I said, if that is the cool artworks, if you're somebody who just covers like Pokemon news, Pokemon updates, the rumor mill, you're opening packs, you're showing off Collecticon, you're showing off personal collections, anything that has to do with Pokemon. If you want to start a Pokemon business, create Pokemon videos. Whatever makes sense to you, whatever is aligned with what your interests are, create Pokemon content for that, put it out into the world, and do it consistently. Okay, you're not trying to make money off of this. You're not trying to create sales out of this. You are just trying to get your name, that little profile picture, in front of people, so they start to associate you with Pokemon, you with their interests, whatever it is. The more followers, the more subscribers that you can get between now and the time that you start your business, the easier it's going to be when you do eventually start the business. People will already know your name. They will already have the image of your business in their head when they see or they hear you, right? You need to create a following so that the hardest part when you first start a business is acquiring customers, okay? That is like the challenge for all new businesses. If you can start a following today, if you have 6 months of following built up before you even start the business, getting customers is so much easier when they're already familiar with you, when they're already familiar with your brand, with your content. Getting people to buy from you there's a lot of a trust factor involved, right? And so people are hesitant to buy from people they've never heard of. If they've heard of you for 6 months, they're way more likely to purchase from you when you start selling things. So start posting things today and be as consistent as you possibly can. Whatever your schedule looks like, get things out into the public now. That following, again, the more money you have and the more following you have when you start, the smoother and the easier your business is going to be when you first get off the ground and getting that snowball rolling so that you start picking up momentum. Now, number 3 may sound like it is counterintuitive to number 1. I told you, number 1, that you need to start building up your funds and saving money. Number 3 is going to be build up inventory, and you cannot do both at the same time. The difference, though, is that building up inventory means that you are purchasing things for the future of the business. You are not purchasing them for your own, fun or pleasure or whatever. You're not purchasing things to open. You are purchasing things that are going to be used for the business. And so inventory versus like free money are completely different things, right? Spending money for the inventory that you will be using to sell for the business is okay. And again, you want to save up money so you're not spending every single dollar on inventory. But just building up the inventory now is going to help you again. So things that you can do, right? If you are already going to Walmart and buying packs for yourself, don't open up all of them. In fact, I would highly recommend you stop opening packs altogether, because once you start your business, you're going to want to break yourself out of the habit of opening packs, because you do not want to get into where you are purchasing things for the business, but then you're opening it up for yourself. That is like the number one way that you're going to make your business fail before it even gets started. If you are not somebody who is able to buy stuff, set it aside, and only sell it, if you feel that need that you have to open it, you have to break that habit right now. So if you're going to Walmart and you're buying your 5-pack limit or whatever, just start putting it away. Just start setting it off to the side. And this isn't for a sealed investment or a collection. This is for inventory that you will sell later. Start buying people's collections, people who are looking to sell, whether it's graded cards, raw cards, whatever. Go to Collecticons and look for what people are selling. Look to buy things that make sense for your financial budget and that you want to be able to sell in the future. Look for bulk, just people who are just trying to offload. The people who have thousands of commons, uncommons, the regular hollows. Look for that stuff. Being able to buy that and sell on TCG Player is another way that you can get stuff for cheap and start building up sales. You want to build up your inventory. If you have the time to actually sort through that bulk and look for the common cards that are 10, 15 cents instead of 5, the uncommons that are 30, 40 cents instead of 5, right? If you're buying this stuff for 1 or 2 cents a piece and selling it for 30, 40, 50 cents, that is a way that you can make money. It's a very small amount of profit. But when I first started, this is what I did. I only had that $600 to start with. So I was sorting through all of the bulk. I was buying people's collection and selling commons, uncommons. I was trying to get TCG Player inventory built up so that I could eventually get accepted into the TCG Player Direct program, which makes that a lot easier. But just start building up anything Pokemon related. Anything that is inventory, start building it up. And you don't need to start selling it right now. Your goal currently is just to build the inventory, right? You want to have it available so that you can actually start to show sales before the distributors are going to accept you. One of the best things you can do when distributors are actually accepting again, and we don't know how long it's going to be for that to happen, but one of the best things that you can do when you apply to a distributor is be able to show them sales numbers. If you have sales numbers, if you have an available amount of capital that you can show them, it will help with the distribution process. And that's not a guarantee. Just because you have sales doesn't mean that they're automatically going to accept you. But it is better than just here's my application. Boom. If you can send the application and also say, hey, also, by the way, the last quarter, so every 3 months is a quarter, the last quarter I did, this much in sales. And if if we work together, I believe that I can, triple that amount or whatever it is. Show them sales, show them the what you're able to do currently, and then you want to try to sell yourself as a positive to them, right? You want to prove that you will be a beneficial partner for them. And so this is just like a sales tactic in general. You don't ever want to contact a distributor as in like, oh, this is good for me. You want to frame it so that it's good for them. And so showing that you already have a lot of sales, that you have working capital, you can say, hey, together, like this can be a really good partnership. I think that I can, triple my sales, and then I have, this much more money that I can purchase from you guys on a monthly, quarterly basis, whatever it is. But again, if we have 6 months between now and when things, and I just keep using 6 months because it's like an arbitrary number. We have no idea when the hobby inventory is going to heal. But if we have 6 months between now and when you actually are able to apply to distributors, let's say you have 5 months or so to build up inventory. You can acquire a lot of stuff in 5 months. If you are working your job and then you are being frugal, you're using the extra money that you have to build up the inventory. You're not opening things. You're not worrying about that. You're not trying to sell things right now. You're just essentially buying it, storing it away. This is now your inventory. This is not a collection. This is not things that I open. If you label it in your head, frame it in your head as this is my inventory, okay? If you frame it as inventory, it does help the mentality around it, because anything you open that is your inventory is lost money to the business. That's how I think about it. The reason that I don't have a problem opening any of the stuff that I have sealed, any of the boxes that I have, is that every box that I open, in my mind, is lost money. My business just lost money because I was greedy and I wanted to open this thing, right? Sure, there's the potential. If you pull the #1 chase card, your business just made money. But I understand how numbers work, and if you do that on a long enough scale, you will lose money forever. And so it's the worst possible thing that you can do. That's why framing it as inventory, build up your inventory, okay? This is things that will be sold in the future when the business is up and running. Right now, you are just using this time to build that up. because you don't have distribution, it's going to be hard to get a lot of products currently. So what you want to do is slowly kind of build that up now. Number 4 is going to be find foreign sellers. And the reason that I say foreign is because now at this point, I mean, we have Japanese cards, Korean cards, Chinese cards, like a lot of different languages are making cards at this point. What you can do right now, before you start your business, is start to actually work on finding good sellers. The reason that it's kind of difficult is because you cannot buy from distributors in other countries. They don't sell outside of their country. So in order for you to get Japanese cards, Chinese cards, Korean cards, you have to work with Japanese sellers, Chinese sellers, Korean sellers. Because they are their own individual sellers, they all have different prices, right? They all have different deals that they offer. They all have different price points, and some are a lot better than others. And so what you can do right now is you can start to track them down. And there are a lot of videos talking about how to do this. For the most part, you're looking at Facebook and Instagram. You're typing in Pokemon cards, you're typing in Chinese Pokemon cards, Japanese Pokemon cards, Korean Pokemon cards, whatever you're looking for, type that in. Start looking through different accounts, okay? You want to look for people who have videos and pictures with, shelves full of inventory, okay? You're looking for people who have this and who have been posting for more than a month. You don't want people who have only had, they've got 5 posts up and they were all in the last week. That's pretty scammy. You want to look for people who have a history of posts and that have proof of lots of inventory. This is going to be an indicator that they are a trustworthy seller. Contact them, ask if they have a price list. Sometimes they will just DM it to you. Sometimes they will link you to like an Excel, whatever. Just start messaging these people and getting an idea of who are the good sellers. Find 1 to 3 good Japanese, Chinese, Korean sellers, whatever languages you want to offer. Find a couple of those sellers, because sometimes one of them is just going to have a better deal than the other. Even if one is typically like the lowest, sometimes that second person, just for whatever reason, they're trying to offload stuff, they've got a better price for it, okay? Start making the relationships now. You can order small-ish orders from them. You don't have to immediately start off with multi-$1,000 orders. You can just start, again, as part of number 3, building up your inventory. Start building up a Japanese inventory. There's nothing stopping you from purchasing boxes from Japanese sellers. This stuff is still going to be, still going to sell. The one thing that I would caution, the Japanese market tends to move with a lot of volatility. There's big ups and down swings that can happen. So you don't want to go super hard into brand new stuff by foreign sellers, because what you buy it at today, by the time 6 months from now, if you start that business in 6 months, it could be dramatically lower. So I would avoid things that like just release, right? Start one set behind, okay? So Inferno X is the set before Mega Dream, okay? Inferno X was having wild price swings on a week-to-week basis. Ever since Mega Dream released, Inferno X came down, and it's kind of been sitting in about the same spot ever since then, okay? So what I personally would do, since you're not looking to sell immediately, is to buy Inferno X and backwards, okay? The sets behind. Buy a couple of boxes of them, whatever you can afford, whatever you're able to get. The more you can buy at a time, the more you can save on shipping costs, and shipping costs are a big deal because of international shipping and everything. And then don't forget the tariffs as well. Some sellers include it in the price, some sellers they don't, and then you get hit with that 15% bill later. That's something to make sure you clarify with them. But buy one set and then backwards. So then whenever the next set comes out, you can buy Mega Dream, and then the next set, and so on and so forth. That way you are not getting hit with the crazy price fluctuations. You don't want to buy a box that's $120 today, and then by the time you're selling it, the market price is $90 or whatever. Like, that's going to be really bad for your business. So purchase the things where the price really isn't moving all that much, which is going to be the older sets and not whatever's the current like hot thing that people are looking for. But this step is very important because, like I said, getting a distributor is not necessarily easy, and we don't know how long it's going to be before they start accepting people again. And the inventory issues are not necessarily getting all that much better. And so it could be a while. And so Japanese, Chinese, Korean, those could be the majority of the things that you sell. If you start your business in 2026, maybe you are just a foreign language seller, and that's okay. There are a lot of people who now love the Japanese. Chinese is doing a lot of exclusive art stuff. Korean is a cheap way to get the arts that people really want. A lot of people are moving into the foreign language Pokemon because it's just overall cheaper. In some cases, half to a third to a quarter of what it would cost to try to get this stuff in English. So starting off with just foreign languages is perfectly viable. And if you can set up the relationships, if you can find the good sellers now, again, you're going to put yourself in a good position for when you start the business, and you don't have to worry about, hey, is this a trustworthy seller? Am I taking a big risk with this? Take the risks now when the money isn't super important. Obviously, any lost money is, a big deal, but it's not like make or break for the business because you don't even have the business yet. We're just trying to build up the inventory. Finding your foreign sellers, the people that you can trust and you can work with today, will set you up for a very positive 2026. The last tip I have, and probably the most important thing that you can start doing today, is to start learning. If you are watching this video, you've already started step number 5. You need to learn as much as you can about business in general, not just Pokemon business, all business. The more that you can understand about business, about the finances of a business, about accounting information, that kind of stuff, the easier it's going to be to start the business. There are going to be a lot of people who want to start a business who don't necessarily have a lot of knowledge. They didn't go to business school. Like all the stuff that I learned about business, I learned from 1, watching my dad run a business, and then 2, from learning through like YouTube videos and stuff. I didn't take any business courses. I was a computer science guy when I was in college. So I had to learn how to run a business through the internet. And the nice thing about the internet is there is an infinite amount of free information. Lots of people sharing their tips, their tricks, their strategies. You kind of have to take it with a grain of salt because anybody can share information, right? So you want to vet out who are actually the knowledgeable people, but you can learn from the people who already have Pokemon businesses. Look for the people making Pokemon content. As I said, I'm going to be making more of this style of content to help people starting their business. So if you want to subscribe, please click the button down below. Stay up to date. You'll have all of my future videos. But there are tons of content creators out there who have videos. How to sell on TCG Player, how to sell on eBay, how to start a website, how to do this, how to do that, everything, right? Start learning today, okay? The more information that you can consume, the more knowledge that you can get before you start the business, the less mistakes you're going to make. And you're going to make mistakes no matter what. I have made countless number of mistakes in the 2.5 years that I have started my Pokemon business. It's just the way that it's going to go, right? A lot of times you have to learn the hard way, and there are some things that people don't prepare you for because they don't even know to prepare you, and then you get thrust into this situation and you just make mistakes. And so, like, you're going to make mistakes, but if you can make less mistakes because you have done a little bit of research forward, you've tried to learn to prevent those things, it's going to make a world of difference, right? And it's free. It doesn't cost anything to listen to, business advice when you're driving to the grocery store, when you're driving to the gym, like whatever, you're at home. Instead of listening to like a Twitch streamer or whatever, turn on a podcast about business. Turn on a video series from a Pokemon creator who's talking about, how they got their business started. I'm going to make videos about how my business got started. Like, you can be listening to Pokemon creators and content creators around business in general and learn a lot of things now, because the more that you learn, the better it's going to be. And that's the recurring theme of this entire video is all these things, if you start them today, by the time your business actually gets started, whenever that is, you're going to be in a much better situation. If you wait until the business is started to do any or all of these 5 things, it's going to be really, really difficult for you. And you want to try to take out as much of the abrasiveness, as much of the difficulty of the beginning, because the start is the hardest part. The easier you can make that, the better your chances of success. But there we go. These are 5 tips that I would recommend that you start doing today, this month, for your 2026 Pokemon business. If you have not started your Pokemon business, if you already started and you're looking for ways to grow it, these 5 things are going to be very, very beneficial for you, okay? The earlier you do these, the more that you can start to build on these 5 principles, whatever you want to, tips, whatever you want to call it. The more that you can start doing that today, no matter how long it takes for the business to actually get started, it's going to be easier. And you want to do these consistently over that time period. Don't do this for a week and then say, oh, okay, I did it. No, you want to do this every week between now and when the business gets started. And then when the business gets started, you're doing this even more. Okay. So like these 5 things never really stop. You don't ever want to stop learning. You don't ever want to stop checking with other sellers to see if you can find, better prices, building up your inventory, all of that stuff. Get into this mindset right now for these 5 things. Start doing them today. And I promise you, starting your business in 2026, you are going to be miles ahead of the people who wait until the business is started to do any of these. And like I said, if you are somebody looking to learn more and get more information about how to start a Pokemon business, the best thing you can do is click that subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date with the series that I'm going to be making about how more things you can do for your Pokemon business once it's started, how to grow, how to acquire customers, all of that stuff. And last, shameless plug, it is shameful as well. Mega Dream Boxes, $110. The link is down below, tcgtrue.com. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next Pokemon Business Tips video.